Coming up in this video, 5 tips to take back your power.
What you need to stop doing to get it.
If you're new, consider subscribing, click that bell, and you'll be good to go.
So for those of you that do not know us yet, I'm Heather.
And I'm David.
From ZenRoseGarden.
Yes. Helping people create
badass lives. What we noticed, and this is important, was that some taught all the cool intuitive techniques, which we all love to learn, without the foundation of self-growth to stabilize it.
Others taught self-growth without having a clue of what to do when people started opening up their intuitive skills.
That's not always a good thing.
No.
Not always a good thing. Both groups have the ceiling that lacks integration. And so we decided we were going to fill that gap.
And if you stay to the end, we'll show you why that's important for you.
Yes. So whether you guys are watching live or replay, if you have any questions as we go, and I know you guys always do, drop them in the comments. Let us know where you're watching from if you're watching live.
Hashtag live tribe. If you're watching
the replay.
Hashtag replay fam. Now it's time for the good stuff.
Okay, as always, today's topic is a question from one of our viewers. We love you guys so much. She says, giving my power away in Seattle.
That's her name.
Yeah, that's her name. Okay. She says, I had a session with you guys after a breakup in 2012 where I realized that I was trying to rescue my boyfriend from his drug addiction. How many of us have tried to rescue somebody? I learned my lesson and finally let go. I'm reaching out now because I am in another relationship and frustrated. He does not smoke, drink, or do drugs, and I am just trying to help him see his potential. I don't want to give up on him, but my sister says I am giving away my power since he doesn't want to listen and improve himself. How am I giving my power away exactly if I am just trying to convince him how special he is?
Now, that is a great question, which brings us to what we know you're probably thinking right now. How have you been the one giving your power away? Let us know in the comments.
Yeah, I know we recognize ourselves in her question. I know I've done this when you're trying to help somebody change and improve themselves, right, and they just don't want to. So I want to talk about what giving your power away means before we get into the tips. Just a little bit about how we give our power away. There are a multitude of ways that we give our power away. We can give our power away when we put the needs of others in front of our basic self-care and self-love needs.
Can you say codependency?
Done that before, 100%. I've done that before, and we've all done it in different degrees, and we all do it in different degrees.
Here, we're still caught up in that subtle trap of getting our power, self-worth, and validation from outside of ourselves, even though on the surface, it might look like you are out to save the world.
And I see a lot of healers and light workers and helpers getting caught in this trap, and then they kind of burn themselves out. So this is addressed to all of us, but I know specifically a lot of the coaches that we train get caught into this because they really are motivated to help people, but sometimes that
becomes the overextended helper.
Right. So sometimes we feel like we don't have a choice in the matter, like we are bound by duty, even though the other person doesn't really want to listen.
Or just pretends to listen, and that's kind of even worse.
Yeah, like the person's going, yeah, I'll do it, and then their actions don't show it, and then you just get frustrated because they're just giving you lip service. But as always, you have to have some healthy level of self-contentment first in order to help anybody else make a lasting change.
Yep, you gotta do you first and get yourself solid before you can ever really be of help to anybody else.
Because then your help is authentic and not coming from, if I improve you, then I improve myself. So
what happens is otherwise, what you're saying, if you're not solid first, what you're saying is that if you're okay, then I'm okay, and that is a recipe for dysfunction if I've ever heard one.
There's a famous book, a famous psychology book, and a lot of it is about codependency, written in the 70s. It's kind of a classic called I'm Okay, You're Okay. So it's not the other way around. It's I'm okay, you're okay. Not you're okay, then I'm okay.
Right. So really, let's be totally honest. Is your happiness dependent on some external validation?
Okay, it's an honest question because to some extent, okay, this is where I want to let you guys let go of all the guilt you might have around this.
Right,
because to some extent, our external does affect us, our happiness, but it's easy to fall into the trap of giving the external all of our power.
Right.
So let's break it down. Okay, so
tip number 1, one, is wanting to see them in their potential, but they don't want to.
They don't want to.
They don't want to.
So this is, I think, what our frustrated in Seattle person is talking about. So I want to start right off the bat with this, because it's a common trap we see our clients caught into, especially the ones that are on their own self-growth journey and really want to help their partners improve themselves so they can experience a level of happiness.
Because
So
if they can fix their partner, they can fix their relationship.
a common thing here is, if my partner could just see the error of their ways and how we could be happy if they just do X, Y, Z, whatever that X, Y, and Z is, then life will be just peachy. Until then, I can't be happy.
If they could just see how X, Y, and Z are working beautifully for me and how it has made me a better person and appreciate me for that, then we can have an amazing relationship and it'll be awesome.
So ... whatever that X, Y, and Z is, like, start going to yoga with me, do your self-improvement work. Part of that is the flip side, like David said, that appreciate me aspect, where I know I've been in this trap huge. If I just do better, and I can do everything with perfection, and my partner's going to see, not David, I'm not talking about David because he doesn't give a shit. If they only see how good I'm doing it, and appreciate the fact that I'm doing X, Y, and Z, if they can only appreciate and see me. So getting frustrated because my partner, whatever partner at the time, couldn't see what I was doing to improve the relationship. And if I just try harder, they'll see and appreciate me. Big no for giving your power away. It's sort of the flip side to this tip number one.
So when you're choosing a partner or a friendship or anybody that you choose to have around you, you have to look at the deal breakers and decide right then if you can live with those things forever. If for some reason your partner decides they're just fine with never improving that particular part of their life, and they're going to continue going on doing these things that irritate you.
Yeah, so I tell people, pick the worst thing about your potential partner, and if that's going to be okay, if they never change it, then you're going to be okay. Because people get in, they go, well, I hate this. I know I can change it. If they love me enough, they'll change this. This is a huge, this is tip number one, because
that's a big pitfall.
I'm going to give you an example from our relationship, full disclosure. When I met David, I had to decide. He only liked California rolls, and that was it. And I'm sort of a big sushi.
Eel rolls.
Yeah, it was pretty limited.
Yeah, it was very,
his sushi palette was limited. So I had to decide that just because he didn't like sushi as much as I did when we met, and I've been a card-carrying sushi addict since I was 19, that it was going to be just fine if he never picked up a set of chopsticks on the regular and got an expanded palette. I said yes anyway. Side note, he loves a lot more kinds of sushi now, so potential bullet dodge. But even if he had never tasted the finer points of sushi, I would still be okay. So I know that's not an extreme example. It's a little example. But
that's kind of an extreme example, because sometimes food with people can be a deal breaker. So you've got to decide for yourself if it's a deal breaker for you. If this person never changes their behavior, can you live with it?
It's a biggie, guys. Think about it. So tip number 2, let's move on, is stop blaming others, the situation, whatever it is, and take personal responsibility.
Absolutely. Because what happens by blaming, your sense of self fades into the background, and you give away more power to whomever or whatever you're blaming, who is not doing X, Y, and Z to improve your mutual situation. You're putting all of this energy outside, so you don't have to just worry about you.
So you got to remember, taking personal responsibility, like we've said in other lives, is that you are the result. You are where you are now as the result of all of the choices you've made up to this moment. And you chose that relationship or that friendship or that job. So you got to kind of take responsibility for that.
So couple things that I want to talk about. We've got a couple of comments that are already coming in that are very relevant, which is why I want to talk about them right now. Nancy says, we let people rob our energy by letting people butt in line, grocery stores, when we did not say it was okay. You stay mad all day. This is your energy you let them take. You're still giving them your energy, even though the event has already gone past. And then Julie says, unfortunately, that's not necessarily possible with kids.
Force creates resistance, right? So it just does. It just does. So, and allowance creates flow and allows the other person to choose what is right for them at the time, even though what they're choosing at the time might not be right for you. And yes, that is more difficult with your own children. Children are always the most difficult because you're kind of
the greatest challenge.
Right? This thought should put you back in control of your life instead of trying to control the lives of others so that your life can improve.
And also remember that you are the result of all of the choices that you have made up to this moment. And you chose this particular relationship. And you also chose to try to change someone in a way that may not be natural for them at this time.
Right.
That's okay.
Right. So, yeah.
I mean, it's not okay. Don't try to change people.
So we talked about forgiveness in one of our last videos and how that helps you overcome victim mentality and different kinds of things. And forgiveness is a big part of taking your power back.
Mhm.
So we're not going to go too deep in that, but it is
Right.
kind of part of this blaming and taking responsibility. Really important to forgive after you've processed the anger and all the
Right.
emotions, because past experiences or events can hold us hostage, just like Nancy was saying.
Yep.
When you're still venting and fuming over the person that butt in line, instead of like, oh, okay, I guess you need to get out of here faster than I did.
Or took your parking space, whatever it is.
And you can brush it off
Mhm.
a lot faster, then you're not losing your power
Right.
to the situation.
So if you want to know a little bit more about that particular victim mentality that we're talking about, go and look at the other video that we did. Tip number 3, stop making excuses.
Okay.
Quit it. Just stop.
Just stop it.
Just stop.
So excuses mean that you're not taking ownership of your personal needs and desires in
Mhm.
some way, such as I can't take time to finish my degree because my partner is doing X, Y, and Z. This is when
Mhm.
you're blaming and making excuses.
So this is one subtle sabotage behind making excuses, and that is that you are not trusting yourself to live the life you want to live and using someone else as an excuse or a scapegoat for why you're not doing your things.
And there's life circumstances that happen, but I'm not talking about things that kind of direct you in different ways.
Right.
I'm talking about legitimate excuses that are self-sabotaging. So
Yep.
take a look at your excuses honestly and make a commitment to stop making them and just do it.
Be Nike.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not talking about life circumstances when I've been thrown by the wind in different directions that I was meant to be thrown in.
So let us know in the comments if you ever caught yourself making those kinds of excuses on somebody else because maybe you really just didn't want to do the thing, even though you wanted to do the thing, but you were scared of doing the thing, so you didn't do the thing and you blamed the thing on somebody else. Let us know in the comments if you've ever done that. Number tip number four, stop judging yourself.
Big one. Okay. Chances are, if you recognize yourself in any of tip number 1, 2, and 3, you are probably your own worst critic, like so many of us are, and have struggled with a perfectionist mindset.
Ooh, yeah, that's tough. I've been there. You might also struggle with procrastination as well and can't seem to immerse yourself in the pursuit of your dream. So it goes perfectionist and procrastination, which can both actually be one and the same, because your perfectionism is a form of procrastination that protects you from stepping into your fluidity of doing the thing.
So this is kind of a way, I want to bring this one up today, because this is kind of a way we give our power away to ourselves and our negative mindset. So here's what it looks like. You might get caught in a vicious cycle of judging yourself for doing something, like getting started. Then you judge it because you think it's not good enough. Why am I even pursuing this degree or this, trying to paint or whatever it is? It's just not good enough. And when you actually do start to work on it, and then you start judging yourself for not taking any action. So you stop doing it, and then you start judging yourself again for not taking actions towards your goal. So it's
that's
like,
a lot of judging on yourself.
You do it, and then you judge yourself for doing it, and then you judge yourself for not doing it. And it's this vicious cycle that we have seen so many people fall into. And that is you giving your power away to that negative program in your head. Raise your hand if you've done that.
So stop with the judgy. Brush that judgy off your shoulders.
Tip number 5.
Recognize the power of choice.
And this is where we really want you guys, our Zen Rose Garden tribe, the Zen heads out there, to take your power back. You always have a choice.
You always have a choice. It can be easy to lose sight of this when you put the needs of others in front of yours. You do not have to do this anymore. And these things are small moments that you catch yourself and reprogram. Sandra says, makes so much sense now. I used to get more mad before for everything. Little by little, I've been making changes. And what you're saying makes so much sense. Thank you. Absolutely. It's those small moments when you catch yourself and change the habit, change behavior, change the thought in a moment. Then do another one, then do another one. And before long, you're going to find that you accumulate so many shifts and changes that who you are now is not who you were 3 months ago. Little changes over time makes rapid results.
And I know for you moms out there, it's kind of like putting the needs of others in front of you.
I'm not a
Like
mom.
he's a mom. For you parents out there, putting
Thank
the
you.
needs of your kids in front of you. I mean, sometimes you got to do that before you can like brush your teeth and like, you know what I mean? That's a different thing. And that's really not what I'm talking about. You know, you're going to be in that situation as a parent. You just do. You're going to get up some days and it's going to be 1 o'clock and you haven't brushed your teeth and you've got 3 babies going on. I've been there. You know, I have 2, he has 2. But that's not what I mean. I mean, take time for yourself and your needs otherwise.
So
outside of that moment.
Change takes action. Okay. You can think about the thing all day, but you take an action and it starts to make it real.
So taking your power back means you have to take actions. It's not just I'm thinking about taking my power back. It's an action. And it can be as simple as writing down what your wants and needs are.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when we are giving our power away, our sense of self has faded into the background so far that we don't really even know. We've gotten numb to what we want, need, and desire out of life. That's so far off the table for us, we've kind of forgotten what it is.
Or lost sight of it on a deep horizon somewhere else outside of your view of awareness. Then when you write down your wants and your needs, then you start writing down specific actions that you can take and do them. Pick any one thing and do that action right away.
We like to say, well, we don't like to say it. I think Aristotle said it, that excellence is a habit of doing excellent things over and over until it becomes a habit. And I'm not talking about perfectionism. I'm talking about excellence.
Yes.
Excellence doesn't stress you out. Perfectionism gives you stress-related health disorders.
Yes.
So there's a warning here I want to add to tip number 5, which is recognize your power of choice. If you cannot see now, okay, ready for a truth bomb. If you can't see now how you were trying to pressure a change in your partner, friend, parent, whatever, if you can't see how that force was infringing on their power to choose, go back and start the video over. Because a lot of times we don't recognize that we're actually trying to force a change and infringe on someone else's free will.
Yes.
That's a come to Buddha moment for me. Yeah.
Because here's the thing. You think that everybody else is doing these things to you in your life, but you're not realizing how you may be butting in on their journey, trying to make them better when they may not be ready.
They got to do some steps in between, and we don't know what those steps are. So
I know what those steps are. Go back and watch the rest of the video from the beginning. That's the step.
We do a bonus tip for you, and it is the power of no
can be
just as powerful as the power of now. Raise your hand.
Boom.
Power of no. Most people who give their power away in some fashion may still have some of that inner people pleaser. It's hard to shake that, right?
Yep.
To let go of that feels some level of shame or guilt if they don't say yes.
If you're not constantly saying yes, you're letting people down. And that's that old people pleaser. So we can eventually get resentful if we go against our truth and do those things that we don't really intuitively want to do. When you're constantly saying yes and constantly piling things on your plate just because you don't want to let somebody down, you're going to build up that resentment and you're going to end up blowing up at some point because it's got to come out. Or you say yes to the things that you actually want to do. You say no to the things that you don't want to do and let it be okay.
I hope that makes sense, guys. I think we actually answered a lot of your questions as we went, but if you're watching on the replay, leave us any questions or comments because we make our videos based on
your guys' feedback.
If it's personal, feel free to
message us.
Inbox us if you're on YouTube or Facebook, and we will look at that. So
Amy says, taking that first step of change is so super hard, but worth it.
Yeah, because when you take that first step, you have guilt and shame. It's like a little bit freaky because it's it might even feel kind of selfish.
Yeah. And Tiki says, I left a 13-year-old relationship like almost 2 months ago. Kudos to you. That takes some balls. It takes some courage. But like Amy said, it is absolutely worth it. When you start cutting out the dysfunction in your life, you create more room for function.
I hope that makes sense for you guys, because we really like to clarify some of these things for you guys.
Right. Chelsea says, saying no started to save my life.
I'm telling you, you get so much of your energy back too. So you guys just learned about some of the things, because like I said, these are only some ways that you give your power away. These are some of the things to stop doing now to take your power back. They're not always easy, but you got to stop doing them.
And Tamara says, what is a good way to break the negative cycle of procrastination to perfectionist? Okay, so procrastination and perfectionism, like I just mentioned a little while ago, is pretty much the same thing. You're procrastinating by being overly perfect. Done is better than perfect, okay? And energy loves speed. Money loves speed, energy loves speed. So the faster that you take action on something and start to chip away at that perfectionism, the less perfect you become, but the better you get.
Start throwing paint on the canvas, you know, because art is messy. The creative process is messy. And I'm talking about metaphorically, any paint you put on the canvas. The creative process needs a little space, and perfectionism is boring. I mean, if the
perfectionism becomes static. If you could possibly reach perfectionism like cells, it's a static place. So you're done, which means there's no more movement. There's no more growth. There's just death. Because stagnation equals death.
Beautiful things happen when you just get out there and you create. Surprising things that are even better than your first idea of what would be perfect.
Terry says the first step in change is watching these videos.
Awesome.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you, Terry. Terry's actually one of our Zen Ed members in something that we're going to tell you in just a minute.
I know we're going to tell you about that right now.
Yes.
Now it's time for that offer to take your life from basic. We're not trying to be basic, to badass in 90 seconds.
Because 90 seconds is all that it takes to make a decision. So what are you going to do?
So you could keep Googling and watching endless YouTube videos.
Except for ours. Watch ours.
From all those people doing the same thing everyone else is doing. And trust me, we've watched everybody. Raise your hand if you're a Zen head.
Raise your hand if you're a Zen head and you know what that means.
You know what that means.
And explain that to other people.
Yes.
So we've learned that self-growth and developing your intuition for a badass life go together like sushi and Sapporo.
And sake. I want to add that in there.
And sake.
Really good sake. Now it's time for that secret weapon we talked about at the beginning.
So what do you need to get started?
Let's start with a question.
Or a few questions.
Couple questions.
Are you tired of all the same shit?
Are you ready for real shit?
Can you handle constant brain downloads that will literally blow your mind?
I hope not literally, because then I'd be responsible for a lot of brains everywhere.
Zen Ed Academy is where we jack you into the ZRG mainframe.
That's right.
Real information.
Without all of the unicorn poop. And you know what I mean by unicorn poop. Raise your hand.
All the courses, past, present, and future. All of the information is down below to get started.
Yes. So guys, this has been a lot of fun today. If you liked this video, be sure to hit the like button.
And if this video helped you in any way, share it with a friend. I got caught up with Chelsea's comment. She says, Jackie Chan has nothing on your ninja skills, David. She also says, join the tribe for more beautiful quips from David on the daily. It's amazing.
So if this video helped you, like David said, share it with a friend.
If you have any questions, let us know in the comments.
Yes, we would love to hear from you.
For more badass life tips,
be sure to subscribe
and click the bell
so you are the first to know
when we drop a new video
or go live.
And we know that time is a valuable and precious resource, and the fact that you've chosen to spend that not only with us, but for yourself, leveling up your skills and taking your life to the next level. We absolutely honor and appreciate that. Ninja skills need some training. So
that's true.
Thanks for watching. Have an amazing day.
I'll see you guys in the next video.
Next one.
In the next live. You guys have a great day.
Catch you on the flip side.
Bye.